Hey traders and investors, it's Serge Berger here. Before I get started, let me remind you to please subscribe to my channel and like the video if you find the information useful. I've had a lot of questions come in over the past just couple days actually on ratio charts because I posted an article on one of the more prominent financial media websites using the ratio chart analysis, and it sparked a lot of interest. So I wanted to make a quick video, just kind of reiterating why it's so important. Look at things both in absolute and in relative terms. What I've done is to do a ratio chart. It's really straightforward. First of all, you do of course have to use a tool that supports it. I like to use eSignal as my piece of software. That's the one you're seeing displayed here on the screen. Very simply, what I like to do is, and I do this on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis in different time frames. I like to make ratio charts. First of all, with the major sectors in the S&P 500. So I'll take the my watch list here, the S&P 500 sectors, and I'll take each one of them and divide each sector by the S&P 500. What that does is it gives me these ratio charts. So for example, what I've already constructed here is the XLK, which is the ETF representing the technology sector of the S&P, divided by the S&P 500. And what it gives us here, obviously, is a really nice picture. If you look at this a little bit more closely and you realize that in 2015 we've had a very choppy market in U.S. equities with a slight upward bias, you also see there's been a good spurt of relative strength both here in February and then again off the April lows. At the very latest, once you see that upward momentum gain, you start to see a reason to maybe get long some of these, say the technology ETF in this case, and you can apply traditional technical analysis to this, by the way. So let's say you started seeing this relative strength come in here in mid-April, and you could have certainly bought it here at some point on a relative basis, and probably in absolute terms as well. So what you could do is you could buy the XLK ETF in in absolute terms, or if you wanted to do a relative trade, you could have bought the XLK and shorted the S&P 500 ETF, so the SPY, against that. So again, this is something that I do on a weekly, daily, weekly, and monthly basis. And if you keep doing this over time, you will get a lot better perspective on where to focus on in terms of what I actually do is I like to look at the absolute charts. So I'll look, let's say, in a stock or an ETF or whatever I'm looking at in absolute terms, and then I'll use this for confirmation. So for example, I was actually very bullish utilities coming in 2015, but all of a sudden we had a really nasty top here, and the way I did that is I looked at this relative chart of the utilities versus the S&P 500. So I had this clear line of resistance that we actually broke out of, but then you got a really sharp reversal. And this is what was, in full disclosure, one of my worst trades this year, having sort of overextended my welcome. But even here, you can apply traditional analysis, and when we saw an initial breakdown of the uptrend occurring of this relative trend, it was certainly time to get out of utilities, again, both in absolute and relative terms. I hope this makes sense, guys. Please subscribe to my channel, like the video. If you got any questions, you can hit me up on Twitter. My Twitter handle is SteadyTrader, and also go over to the SteadyTrader.com and see what I'm up to over there. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.